Hi, my name is Mackenzie Barnes, and this is the final product demo for the Legal Services of North Florida's asset tracking system we have named TrackPoint. I am the team lead. We also have Matthew Fernandez, who is our project manager, Emily Grinan, who is our analyst and technical writer, and Stephen Taylor, our software quality analyst. Our mentor is Jerico Cruz. Our client, like I said, Legal Services of North Florida. And we've been working with Amy Browning, the Director of Operations, Amanda Campbell, the Outreach and Events Coordinator, Ray Sutherland, the Operations Assistant. We've also been working with Adrian and Kyle, who are on LSNF's third-party IT team to get this deployed to their cloud. So the problem that Legal Services of North Florida was having was they could not track their assets since they don't have or didn't have a formalized system. They used an Excel spreadsheet. So they have 8 offices and 4 mobile units. I think it's actually more now that I'm thinking of it. And they all require a wide range of equipment and assets. And so since they're so spread out across these locations, they're hard to track and it's hard to keep accountability of who has what. They prefer Azure as a cloud service provider since they do have Microsoft accounts. So the key product requirements that they had for us was a simple login system for staff so they can sign in with a username password and have different role access, which we actually ended up using Microsoft Entra single sign-on for that. So everything account authentication wise is handled through Microsoft Entra. They also wanted easy asset entry with the ability to add new items with key details quickly, as well as a simple search box to instantly look up an item, see where it is, and who's responsible for it, and then track whether equipment is in good condition, needs repair, or has been replaced or retired, as well as being able to add notes for maintenance needs and whatnot. They also wanted a dashboard that was very clear, very user-friendly, overviewing total assets, items by office, what assets are checked out, and any alerts. So our functional requirements were user management and authentication, asset management, asset allocation, and dashboard management. So our non-functional requirements were usability. They have a lot of lawyers coming and going. They needed something that was intuitive, easy to use, user-friendly, so that they didn't have to have an extensive training every time they got a new lawyer or a lawyer left, something like that. They also wanted QR codes or a barcode tied to each serial number of the assets that they have, compatibility with mobile devices, and again, they wanted the lawyers to require minimal training. They also wanted scalability, so it could grow with the company, which would be easy as far as just upgrading the service on Azure to their needs if they ever did get very large and have a huge amount of assets requiring that, since they do want to add more office locations in the future as well. The technologies that we used was ASP.NET and MVC. We use Visual Studio for coding, Bootstrap and CSS, Azure. And we also use data tables for all the charts and whatnot. And we use GitHub for source control, and we use Jira for our product backlog sprint board. We did have client feedback, which we did end up working on. So some workflows needed to be refined, such as when editing an asset and going back to our browse asset page, the filters that were added are not saved. We did fix that. Linking the assets that need attention on the dashboard, done that. We also needed a status of that explicitly stated available. We have that now. The notification functionality needed refining, which we are good with that as well. And like I said, we have done that actually. We did do the staff training and we are in the middle of getting it deployed to their Azure. So we're working very closely, very intensely with them to do so. And I will demo my use case, which was account management and authentication. So this is our Azure Active Directory for TrackPoint. We just use the default domain from here. And you'll see when it logs on, it automatically redirects to Microsoft. So I'm actually not going to use that account yet. I'm going to log in to my admin account for TrackPoint. You'll forgive me, it likes to have a lot of steps today. So it does multi-factor authentication. And it really is different depending on how it is set up, how each tenant is set up. So for them, for LSNF, there's actually just logs straight on. They don't have to do multi-factor authentication, none of that. It just, boom, takes them right to the dashboard. So you'll see for an admin view, it has all of these links here. Up here, you can sign out since I'm just showing functionality. Any other account management functionality like change password, um, forgot password, things like that, that is handled by Microsoft. So you would change passwords or forget passwords with Microsoft and not through our app locally. So this is the admin view. It has all of these links on the sidebar there. I'm going to go ahead and show you sign out. Here we are. It's supposed to redirect. It sometimes likes to, let's see. Perfect. And then we have a redirect to the sign out landing page, which it doesn't always do that, but again, that's up to Microsoft. And then I'll show you the borrower login, which is this one for me. I think this one is a little different because this account is set up differently for me. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Perfect. That's the only thing they have access to. And then again, sign out. It should take it back to the landing page. So yeah, sometimes the borrower account doesn't want to sign out. So that is all I have as far as account management and authentication. I will hand it over to my next team member.
Hi, I'm Emily Grinan. I was the analyst and technical writer for Ethos Inc. Our community partner was Legal Services of North Florida. I was responsible for doing the dashboard management for our system, and I'm going to go over that today, the final version. So, our dashboards is broken up into two sections. We have the borrower and the admin version of it. The borrower version is simple. We have these high level KPI charts or cards that show your assets, any of your or any of your loans that are due soon, and then any assets that have the warranty that's expiring soon. This Action Center here just has all of the assets that are currently assigned to you as a user, and then you can click view all of your assets to go to the next page. And then down here, alerts are just any assets that you are currently um, in the process of requesting to get approved. And then as an administrator, your priority overview has more information. You have the assets that you mentioned, the assets that are overdue that need to get turned back in. You have the warranty expiring, and then you have the unassigned count of the assets in the system. These are just parts of the assets by status and then warranty coverage um, for all of the assets. And then this action center here shows all of the assets that need immediate action. So whether it's pending deployment, under maintenance, or is just lost, they'll populate here. And then here are all the pending approvals. So anything that needs to get approved will populate down here. And then the last part for the admin dashboard is this report section. So here you can generate a report for the either the category locations or the statuses of the um assets. So here I want a category report. I want a KPI page and a table summary as well. And I want it to be in PDF format. So it's generating. I won't be able to display it onto the screen. But in the demo, I can probably cut my share and then do it again. It just shows the information for the different categories, and the same thing goes for the location or the status report. And to kind of demo this up here, so if I click my assets, I have a total of the 6 assets that are assigned to me that I can view. Um, Due soon. This just means that I have to turn it back in. Like it says, the loan is due on the 26th. And then the warranty expiring, um, it shows the warranty expiration here as well. And then now on the admin side, same thing. I can see what's overdue. I can see warranty expiry information, and I can see if it isn't assigned to anybody. Um, so yes, that is my demonstration for the dashboards for the Ethos Inc. group.
Hello everyone, my name is Matthew Fernandez and I work in the asset allocation use case. The first feature I want to show is the individual asset view, which is accessible through the asset browser. You can go to it by clicking on any asset tag over here. For example, the ThinkPad T430. As you can see, the asset view shows all the details for the asset, such as its name, its location, its status, and more information if you select at the bottom over here. You also have a lot of options for the asset itself. Administrators can edit the asset through the bottom over here. If you currently own the asset, which I don't, then you can report an issue. And you can also generate a barcode for an asset, which will take you straight to the assets page when you scan it. From here, we also have the audit trail, which shows the history of the assets transfer. For example, when it went from one person to another. This is important for ensuring accountability. The next feature I want to show is checking in and checking out an asset, which is a core feature of the application. To do so, you would simply press the borrow asset button on any asset you want to check out. Let's confirm. Now in this case, this asset requires administrator approval since it is an expensive item, so a checkout request will be sent to the administrator, as you can see up here. From an administrator's point of view, you would simply go to your admin dashboard and look at your pending approvals in order to accept or deny the request. The approvals are another major feature which I worked on, which allows administrators to either approve or deny assets that are going in and out, whether it be for checking out, for maintenance, or etc. Let's say I want to deny this asset. I would simply press the deny button over here, and I would state a reason for denying the approval. However, in this case, I want to approve the asset, so I would simply press the approve button and confirm. Now, when the asset is approved, the borrower may see it from their dashboard, which will be this asset over here, and they will also be notified when the asset has been approved. The last feature I want to showcase is the transfer log, which is essentially similar to the audit trail, but it shows every transaction that happened within the system. This is useful for getting an overview of how assets are moving throughout storage and the employees. For example, we can see some transfers have been happening on the system over here, such as the ThinkPad being checked in and out and assets being created. You can also sort it by the ID, the type of activity, or the date. Thank you. On to the next person.
This is Stephen Taylor, and I am demonstrating the asset management functionality of TrackPoint. First, we will go to the Browse Assets page. This is where a user can see all of the assets currently in the system, both available and unavailable ones. We have filtering functionality to allow the user to find what assets they're looking for. For example, if you're just looking for monitors, you can select that in the category options and apply your filters, and it will just show all of the assets that are labeled monitor in the system. We also have buttons over here to check out assets, edit assets, and retire assets. Editing assets will give you the option to view and change any of the fields, in addition to allowing you to update asset tags in the case that you decide to change the category or location an asset is located at. The category and location determine the abbreviation that an asset receives. We also have the option to retire an asset. This will allow the administrators to hide assets that are no longer being used. Next, we will go to the register asset form. This is where administrators can add new assets to the system. All of these fields have input validation so that if you decide to submit your form without filling out the required fields, it will prompt you to. We also have the category management page, which allows administrators to add and manage what categories they will have assets for. This was made to allow our client to add new types of assets to the system as they get new types of gear. For example, they currently don't have VR headsets, but if they did for some reason want to stock them, they could add a new category for VR headsets one day. There are options to register a new category with fields to add names, abbreviations, descriptions, the default loan period, which is used by the system to determine how long a loan for this asset will last, a option to flag a categories items as having consumables that aren't individually tracked. For example, if you have a box of pens for a outreach event that are given away, you don't have to track the individual pens in the box. We just track the box of pens as one asset. We also have locations. These allow the clients to sort their assets by what location they are physically at. Again, we have options to register new locations and to edit existing locations. And again, we have the option to update the asset tags in the case they change the abbreviation and want to update all the items in that category or location. Deleting categories and locations is also allowed. Doing so will reassign them to a unassigned category or location, which is hidden within the system. This is so that way assets that have their location or category deleted still have a spot they are allocated to, so that way they can be found and reassigned to actual categories and locations that are in use.